Welcome to Card Notes at Vintage Hockey Cards Report. This is the pilot of a regular podcast looking at the fascinating world of hockey cards and the history of the game. Each episode will look at a handful of cards and take a deeper look into the info provided on the back, the player, or just the physical card itself. On this episode, we're looking at the Andre Lacroix 1969-70 o-pee-chee number 98 hockey card, Dan Bouchard 1973-74 o-pee-chee number 45 hockey card, Eddie Shack, 1960-61 Topps number 7 hockey card, Guy Lafleur, 1976-77 o-pee-chee number 163, and the Bruce Gamble, 1969-70 o-pee-chee number 44 hockey card. Andre Lacroix, 1969-70 o-pee-chee number 98 hockey card. Written on the back, Speedy Frenchy Lacroix was a real find for Philadelphia fans. Always a star in junior hockey, Andre was twice picked as league MVP over Bobby Orr. He had a 4-point game for a spectacular NHL debut. He's a good skater. A closer look. Andre Lacroix was definitely a star in junior hockey. Playing for the Peterborough Petes in what is now the OHL, Lacroix won the Red Tilson Trophy as the league's most outstanding player in both 1964-65 and 1965-66. In 65-66, he led the league with 120 points, earning the Eddie Powers Trophy. Andre had 119 points in 64-65, but fell 4 points behind Ken Hodge of the St. Catharines Blackhawks for the league lead. Lacroix would go on to be a 2-time scoring champion in the World Hockey Association. He led the WHA in 1972-73 with 124 points for the Philadelphia Blazers. 2 years later, in 1974-75, he led the league with 147 points as a member of the San Diego Mariners. The 4-point night. A bit of an error on the back of this card. Andre Lacroix did have a spectacular 4-point night at the start of his career, but it wasn't his first game. It was his second. On February 22, 1968, in a game played at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, Andre Lacroix did put up 4 points. The Flyers beat the Minnesota North Stars by a score of 7-3. Andre had a goal and 3 assists. All 3 helpers were on goals by Leon Roquefort. However, Lacroix's goal was his second of the season, and it was his second game of the year. The night before, the Flyers played the Pittsburgh Penguins at the Pittsburgh Civic Arena. The game ended in a 1-1 tie. Lacroix scored the lone Philadelphia goal at 4:40 of the second period, assisted by Jean-Guy Gendron. Dan Bouchard, 1973-74 o-pee-chee number 45 hockey card. Written on the back, Dan was a first-team All-Star with Boston of the American League in 1971-72 and won the AHL's leading goalie award that season, originally the property of the Boston Bruins. A closer look. With the Boston Braves in 1971-72, Dan Bouchard appeared in 50 regular season games, posting a 2.51 goals against average and adding 4 shutouts. He was indeed awarded the Hap Holmes Memorial Award as the AHL's top goaltender. Originally the property of the Boston Bruins, Bouchard was taken in the second round of the 1970 NHL Amateur Draft, 27th overall after a year of major junior hockey with the London Knights. He never played for the Bruins and was taken by the Atlanta Flames in the 1972 expansion draft. Dan would have a lengthy NHL career with the Flames, Quebec Nordiques, and Winnipeg Jets. Eddie Shack, 1960-61 Topps number 7 hockey card. Written on the back, which American-born players won the Calder Trophy? A closer look. This card contains an error, or at least an omission. At the time, there were 3 U.S.-born players to win the Calder Trophy as the NHL's Rookie of the Year. However, on the back of this card, it lists just 2 of those winners. Cully Dahlstrom and Frank Brimsick are listed as the answers to the trivia question. Carl Cully Dahlstrom, born in Minneapolis, Minnesota, won the award in 1937-38 as a member of the Chicago Blackhawks. Frank Brimsick won the award the following year in 1938-39 as a member of the Boston Bruins. Brimsick was also a Minnesota boy born in Eveleth. However, the trivia question ignores the first ever winner of the Calder Memorial Trophy. Carl Voss won the award in 1932-33. Voss split the season between the New York Rangers and Detroit Red Wings. The ironic thing about the NHL career of Carl Voss, born in Chelsea, Massachusetts, a city that connects to Boston, is that he played for 8 different teams: the Maple Leafs, New York Rangers, Detroit Red Wings, Ottawa Senators, St. Louis Eagles, New York Americans, Montreal Maroons, and Chicago Blackhawks, but never the Boston Bruins. Since Brimsick, there have been 8 U.S. players to win the Calder as of 2021-22. The next winner was 45 years after Frank and was another goalie. Tom Barrasso, born in Boston, won the award in 1983-84 as a member of the Buffalo Sabres. Guy Lafleur, 1976-77, o-pee-chee number 163. Written on the back, Montreal's top offensive threat last season, Guy ranks as one of the top superstars in the NHL. Had 18 power play goals in 1975-76. A closer look. Guy Lafleur's 125 points in 1975-76 for the Montreal Canadiens earned him his first of 3 consecutive Art Ross Trophy wins as the top scorer in the National Hockey League. His 56-goal total was the second in a string of 6 consecutive seasons topping the 50-goal plateau. He would reach a career best of 60 goals 2 years later in 1977-78. The mentioned 18 power play goals put him one behind league leader Phil Esposito of the New York Rangers and tied him with Pierre LaRouche of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Denny Potvin of the New York Islanders, and Rick Martin of the Buffalo Sabres. It was the best power play goal performance of Lafleur's Hockey Hall of Fame NHL career. Of his 560 regular season goals, 154 were scored with the man advantage. Bruce Campbell, 1969-70, o-pee-chee number 44. Written on the back, usually when a player is said to be streaky, it's a knock, but not Bruce Campbell. The robust goalie often gets a hot hand and once ran off 4 shutouts in 8 games. He's also played for New York and Boston. A closer look. This card contains an error. In 1965-66, Campbell played much of the season in the CPHL with the Tulsa Oilers. However, he had a 10-game stint with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He actually had 4 shutouts in 5 games, not 8 games as stated on the back of the card. On March 3, 1966, Bruce stopped all 31 shots in a 4-0 win over the Montreal Canadiens at the Forum. 2 days later, he turned away all 33 shots in a 5-0 victory over the Chicago Blackhawks at home. He played the following day in Boston, and the Maple Leafs won again by the score of 5-3. The shutouts began again on March 9th with a 1-0 home win over the Detroit Red Wings. The shot total that game reached 35. Finally, on March 12th, Bruce turned away all 27 shots in a 6-0 win over the Bruins at Maple Leaf Gardens. Bruce then led in 11 goals in 2 games, and Johnny Bower was reinstated between the pipes for Toronto. Of course, Bruce Campbell is infamous for a game later in his career while playing for the Philadelphia Flyers. Campbell had a heart attack during the game, but continued to play. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Card Notes. Stay tuned, there'll be more coming up soon. If you could, please hit the like button, and we'd really appreciate if you'd subscribe to the channel.